What's up, and welcome back to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes, and I am joined by Fran Mirabella III.
Happy to be back. How's it going?
Happy to have you back. Did the smoke scare you?
Yeah, I always think the Undertaker's about to come out.
Exactly.
Which is, I know
You're
what
wearing
you
the
guys
purple.
want.
You're wearing the Undertaker, the classic
Oh, is
90s
this like,
Taker look. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
In a
Maybe
polo,
he's
you know?
going to show up and rip it off of me.
How you doing, Fran? It's been a while.
Doing well, yeah. I think the last time I was here, actually, it's only been a month or two, so not too shabby.
Good getting you back here. What you been up to? Anything new?
Nothing too exciting. I did get back into the Destiny grind because that came out. Might have been just around when I was here last time, but I went full in. I usually do that about once a year.
Yeah.
Now I'm just done. Ground out for like the year, basically.
So where are you at with Destiny then? So you're grinded out for the year. You're done. Where are we at with Destiny now that this big expansion came out? Like, are you expecting another one in the next year?
Oh yeah, there's always their cycle now is one expansion per year. They slipped from September to February, so you always get an expansion in February, and then it's 4 pieces of seasonal content. One launches with that expansion. But so it's every quarter. February, then May, the end of May, there's one. And so I always play the seasonal content. It's pretty light. It's like usually $10, vibe, if that makes sense. But I keep up with it, but this is where I usually go like big if I'm going to go big at all.
Yeah, the big yearly one. Do you think there's going to be a Destiny 3 or something that is like an even bigger drop than the annualized drops?
It's funny. I'm only laughing because I responded to like a Destiny podcast about, they were like, the engine's too old. We need a Destiny 3. Roughly speaking, that's what they said. And a lot of chatter all of a sudden has been, I guess it's been on everybody's mind. But it's because it's 9 years later in Destiny. Everybody's feeling like it's the same. And what I said is, I'm like, it's not the engine. And of course, there's a billion reasons why your engine should always continue to improve. And it has, by the way, at Bungie. But everybody wants Unreal Engine 5 now, of course. And, the point is, people are very quick to say, we need a new engine. But games don't just happen as quickly as I think people, think. Like, we're going to talk about Star Wars Jedi a little bit today, right? Like, it took longer than I expected, and we'll see. It's probably, my guess is, it looks similar, but it's a lot more content. And, we're going to see the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. Like, think of how long that's taken. You can't just replace an engine and hope to get all of that. So, anyway, to answer the question, next year is the final shape, which is the end of their sort of Star Wars. It was going to be a trilogy, and then it's what do they call it when it's a quad? But anyway, it's a quad saga.
Quadrilogy, I guess.
They had
five.
They had to actually slip in one more release to get to what's called the final shape next year. And that's supposed to end this Light and Dark saga, as they call it.
Okay.
And then we don't know what's next, but I think people want to believe there's a Destiny 3, and Bungie's been saying, no, it's not. They've even said about the engine, by the way, like, we've been continually improving it. You shouldn't be expecting a new engine. But the point is, I expect them to do a little bigger of a, new start. So expect some things maybe to go away and some newer things to show up, maybe a new part of the universe, because it is set around sort of Earth and the planets we know. But I do not expect it to be like, well, we're going to blow everything up again, and it's Destiny 3. Like, no. Yeah. I wouldn't expect that at all. But that wouldn't be until, 2025 we're talking.
I mean, do you think that the PlayStation Studios ownership of Bungie will affect Destiny 3 one way or another?
If there's a Destiny 3 in the title, I mean, it's going to affect them in Sony's philosophies. But what I like about that is Sony, with most of these types of partners, whether it's Sucker Punch or... I mean, they like to do big cinematic, and this is their one, really, I mean, it is the online service game. So it will be interesting to see how Sony influences that, because Bungie already has this rhythm, and they're going to continue to release it for Xbox and all this other stuff. But I think, if anything, it's just more polish, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully get some more resources to kind of plug some of these gaps. The biggest problem with Destiny is it's been 9 years, and if you've been playing it off and on or the whole time, it's just too samey. It is a very high-polished game, and I'd like to see other studios do this well. And I put that out there because a lot of people are like, meh, Lightfall Story was like, meh, and it gets that sort of middling 6 and 7 kind of vibe. But the polish of the game is still all there. And you talk to Andy and Joey was addicted. And
oh, yeah.
It's quality. It's the same roughly every year.
Yeah.
So they got to break that cycle. Whether they do it with Final Shape next year, we'll see. Otherwise, I do expect them to break the cycle a little more with whatever's in 2025.
You know, it's the same every day, Fran. The fact that you can get your news live right here on Kinda Funny Games Daily each and every weekday, 10 a.m., twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames, youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. We come at you live with all of the video game news that you need to know. If you can't watch live, that's totally okay. You can watch later on YouTube or roosterteeth.com. You can also listen on podcast services by searching your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Games Daily, and we will be right there for you. If you're feeling extra frisky today, give us some thumbs up, give us the 5 stars, give us the 10 out of 10 reviews, all the good stuff. It really helps us get into the algorithm so that new people can find us and we can continue making fun stuff happen. You know all about that algorithm,
I love that
Fran.
you tell him to get into the algorithm, and he's right.
Yes.
Watch a next video after you watch this one. That's part of the Kinda Funny ecosystem.
And if you want to be even more a part of the Kinda Funny ecosystem, patreon.com/KindaFunny is where you want to be, because you get the show ad-free. You also get so much bonus content, Kinda Feudy, the shit list, Greg Ways, so much amazing content. Remember Blank. It's just great. Endless quality content for you to consume. To be part of the show, head to kindafunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. Some housekeeping for you. A new Kinda Funny podcast is up right now on youtube.com/KindaFunny. It is one of those ones that is just an all-timer, Fran. Lots of great jokes. I was laughing the entire time. Nick says some extremely ridiculous things. Maybe later in the show, me and you will have to talk about your thoughts on the Creator Clash matchup of Fran Mirabella versus Nick Scarpino in a boxing match.
Yes, that did come up.
And then before Jedi Survivor reviews go up, you should check out Barrett's absolutely amazing video essay about why Jedi Fallen Order is incredible. He fucking kicked ass on this thing. It is 30 minutes-ish. I don't remember the exact time, but it's about 30 minutes of an extremely high-quality breakdown of what makes Jedi Fallen Order special. And it's also a great refresher on what that game was and why it mattered leading into Jedi Survivor. So definitely go check that out. And then remember, we're trying something new after Games Daily. Before the daily streams, we're doing a nice little Games Daily post show where we are going to hang out with you, with Snowbike Mike, and we'll answer all of your YouTube super chats about the stories from the show or whatever video game stuff you'd like to talk about. Over on Patreon, there's a new episode of Greg Way up every single day. This week, Greg is out, so that means Snowbike Mike is taking him up, and you always want a little bit more Mike in your life. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Tripod Plus Plus and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money, but we'll tell you all about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Dozen.
Story number 1, a PSA for you, everybody. Star Wars Jedi Survivor spoilers have leaked online. This comes from Ryan Dinsdale at IGN. Be careful out there.
We're not spoiling
Mute stuff. Of course we're not spoiling it. Don't spoil it for anybody else out there. Be
Jerk
cool.
faces.
The highly anticipated Star Wars Jedi Survivor from EA's Respawn Entertainment isn't out for another few days. We're just days away, Frank.
I know.
That's very exciting. But heads up, spoilers have already leaked online. The leaker, who appears to have been sold a copy of the game a few days early, has already completed Jedi Survivor and took to Twitter to share their impressions, screenshots, and other details. These have also been shared on Reset Era, which we won't be linking to, so reader beware. The leak, which includes details about the ending, game length, the number of planets, new characters, and lots more, even grabbed the attention of EA itself as its Star Wars account tweeted, "No spoilers." Barrett brought up that tweet for you to see there, where they just say, "No spoilers. We're beyond excited for everyone to experience Jedi Survivor this week. We ask that you please be mindful of others and avoid posting or sharing spoilers. And remember, BD is watching." What do you think, Fran?
I'm wondering how much, you mentioned a lot of stuff like, number of planets, and some of this stuff will probably come out in the reviews, which is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Is that right?
It is.
You can watch right
check
here.
out ours for sure, youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. It'll be on the Gamescast. It's going to be a great one. I guess we could say this, that like who's going to be on it, right, Barrett? You want to let people know?
I've got food in my mouth. You tell
Barrett
me.
He had a
has food in his mouth,
thumbs
but
up,
it's going to be Greg Miller as our lead reviewer on this one. I'll be hosting it. We have Andy, we have Bless, and Barrett Courtney will be joining us. So we have a full squad of people to talk about
like a good
Jedi
show.
Survivor. Really, really excited about
But yeah, I'm curious to see how much comes out in just the normal review discussion, of course, with planets. But story stuff is always like, just don't do that. Like, especially if you got the game early, don't be that person is all. I mean,
Yeah.
because even if you were like, hey, spoilers beware, and you have this tweet thread, the problem is it will get spread around. People will use that divisively, and that's the problem. Some people don't even play these games. They love to find out this crap and go in streams and and just make people's life, awful.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't make people's lives awful. That, of course,
that's
don't
my
do any of
message
that.
for today.
I do think that we are in this like modern era of social media and just media in general, where more and more I think we're seeing the creators themselves put out messaging of like, hey, protect this experience for people and like, come on, like be cool. Which like it's sad that that's where we're at, but also it makes sense. Like things have evolved in just the way people communicate. Like this type of messaging, I do think goes a long way, but also like take heed to it. Like I feel like this, like the fact that the people that have worked so hard in this game have to put out this messaging because there was a leak, not to get ahead of it. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I am. Some of you know this, some of you don't, but I am a very protective type person when it comes to spoilers. So much that like I don't care how far back in time it goes. Just ask first. Oh wait, is this a spoiler for you? Don't assume. And some people are like, Fran, that is ridiculous. If you haven't watched Avengers Endgame, that's on you. And they get into this like, that's on you, bro. And I'm like, why? Like, I mean, I have, by the way, but I bring this up, Tim, because you may or may not remember this story when we were doing Fire Team Chat way back in the day, Sean Finney. In the middle of the show, like we're talking about Destiny. I don't know how it got into Marvel, and I won't spoil it just in case. But he threw out like one of the major deaths in Endgame. He's like, oh, well, so-and-so died. And I was like, and you see my face live on the show. And he's like, oops. And I was so pissed, though. Because they ruined, the point is, you ruined the movie for me. Couldn't you have just asked or been careful?
Yeah, that's true. You can always be more careful. I do think it's context sensitive, and we get a lot of shit for spoiling stuff on shows. And some of it, I totally understand. Totally understand. And everyone has their different things. And that's totally fair. Personally, my stance on it is try not to ruin experiences for people. And like, you're not always going to get that right.
You take something away from them.
Yeah, totally. And I don't want to do that. Like, I love sharing things with people. I love like seeing people experience stuff for the first time and all that. So like, I am the number one fan of like the experience.
Careful.
But especially when people don't. For me, it's when people don't have the opportunity to have the experience. Like right here, it's like people that want to not be spoiled can't play this game if they want to right now. So I feel like it's like extra sensitive. I think as things go on, the sensitivity kind of drops down a bit. But
definitely.
But yeah, where are you at with the Survivor? Are you itching for it, Fran?
I am. I'm just so far back in the backlog now. I guess I feel defeated. But yes, I loved Star Wars Jedi when it came out. Fallen Order, right?
Yep.
This is just Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved it. I was super into its sort of. I don't know. It was like, to me, it was almost a Metroid-ish, Tomb Raider-ish, with a touch of Sekiro, kind of Star Wars adventure. And so I loved a lot about it, other than some of the backtracking and whatnot. But even that was fine by me, especially for
a Metroid guy.
Out the gate. Yeah. And they fixed some of those, I believe, fast travel points later. So anyway, I was curious to see what they do here. I'm always in these games about the feel. I mean, every high-polished game, it's about the feel of the saber and your moves, and of course the skill trees.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what it's going to come down to for me. And like, I have some memorable boss fights in Fallen Order, and obvious like moments where I was like, "Oh man, that was like the lightsaber battle that I wanted, and it felt really good." And so, can they continue that pace of like, "Oh, and it feels even better now"? Well, we'll see. Either way, I know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So you say you have a big backlog. Is this going to jump to the front of it? Or okay. So like when this game comes out this week, boom, Fran Mirabella, twitch.tv/FM3.
Yes, I'm definitely playing it. What I hesitate on is, can I continue to play? It's probably for me, it's probably going to be a 40-hour type game. Probably, at least. So that's what I wonder. Like, am I going to, because Zelda comes out
May 12th, I want to say.
It was like we're around the
2 weeks away.
So it's like,
Zelda,
that's like, if I don't finish it before Zelda, I'm screwed. But yeah, no, it's the priority. I'm super excited. And yeah, I don't want any spoilers on this one either.
Yeah, FM3_. My bad. Twitch.tv/FM3.
I hate the underscore, obviously. If you search FM3 though on Twitch, you can find it. It's easy,
lean into the underscore, Fran. Lean into it.
No.
So we're here, Fran. We are a week away or within the week of Jedi Survivor. Within Oh my God! Within 2 weeks
You see?
of Zelda, what's your Zelda hype levels? You're one of the bigger Zelda guys I know as well.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Zelda. It's the same sort of like slight hyperventilation on the like, I want to. It's weird too that I'm now playing games like as my main thing, right? But it's hard to find that rhythm of keeping Twitch moving at the right speed, right? So I've been playing a lot of Destiny because that got a lot of response, obviously. Where people have dropped in and out. So frankly, that was part of it too. I played a ton of Destiny because it was a good time to do it, but also I sort of has been like a good spot on late night Twitch for that, so that's been good. But it's starting to stretch for everybody, like we're through all the content. So anyway, long story short, just looking at the footage, I'm like, yeah. And the last thing I would say is I regret because I was still changing from leaving IGN, doing all sorts of things at the time when Breath of the Wild hit, I believe. And I regret not going super deep. Like with Elden Ring, I went 300 hours. And so I could see myself doing something like that with this game.
So with Breath of the Wild, then what did you do? You beat it.
I just beat it.
Yeah, okay.
And tons of like the deeper sides I didn't do.
I mean, it's a lot of Korok seeds,
Yeah, okay, I'm not going to do the Korok seeds. That I care way less about. What's up, Kevin? I care way less about.
But you're trying, like you're hoping to get to shrines and stuff like that.
Yeah, do all the shrines. Also just different builds, but also fight the what are the bigger centaur type?
The Lynels.
Yeah, the Lynels. I didn't do. There was like multiple Lynels to fight and stuff,
They're
right?
So scary.
I know, and I wanted to like master that, but I never did, and so I definitely regret some of that.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Like this trailer, I think is like so special because. Like, I know to a lot of people, they look at this and like, oh, I don't see what's the big deal. But like to people that love Breath of the Wild and that love Nintendo and that love Zelda, seeing this trailer, it's like, whoa. I feel like every single bit about it, like you can feel the magic. Like you kind of just understand exactly what the experience is going to be from what they're giving here. But there's also that mystery. There's also that X factor. But that first shot of Link, like jumping down, like falling from the sky and the camera going around him, you're immediately like, I get it. I'm in.
And all these shots of, and this is what I love about Nintendo and their sort of imagination of like all of these shots where you see stuff floating in the air above a world you've already kind of explored and like all of the new building and physics stuff. It's super exciting. I mean, I think we're going to see some truly like crazy clips that are coming out of this of like people building like look at this stuff. It's absolutely insane looking. And that's why, man, I think if you get into this game, 300 to 500 hours, even easy. Like seriously, like if you're like crazy about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Exciting stuff, everybody. Be careful out there with spoilers for Jedi, and then I'm sure with Zelda. I mean, already with Zelda, there was the art book that leaked back in January, I think. So be careful out there. Remember to mute hashtags and like do all the things you need to do to protect yourself because there's going to be a lot of bad people out there that aren't trying to protect your good time. Story number 2, Sega of America cohort moves to unionize. This is from Jeffrey Rousseau at gamesindustry.biz. A unit of 144 staffers at Sega of America have filed for a union election with the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, for those in the know. As reported by The Verge, the cohort known as the Allied Employees Guild Improving Sega, AEGIS, consists of employees from departments that include live service, marketing, and product development. The unit's partnered with the Communications Workers of America. In its statement regarding the unionization effort, the group said in part, "Our workers and our audiences deserve games made by people who make a living wage. In our quest to reclaim our collective power, we've built bridges with fellow workers from across our company in an effort to understand our shared issues." The unit also said that nearly a third of Sega staff aren't full-time workers, lack paid time off, and do not have access to bereavement leave. The cohort's goals in forming a union include higher base pay for all staffers, improved stable benefits for all staffers, clear outlines for career advancement, balanced workloads and schedules, adequate staffing to end overwork. This follows, of course, on a trend in the industry of many other, on every side of the games industry, kind of unionizing in different ways to kind of get the needs met of just treating people right. I feel like that's the thing is with all of this. It's like people just need to be treated right. And the bigger the companies, I feel like this has just become more and more of an issue. And the thing that really like I see here is like the nearly a third of Sega staff aren't full-time workers. It's like, if they are full-time workers, like doing full-time work, but they're contractors. Like, this shit just needs to stop, man. Like, people are just being so abused by all of this. And industries all over, but like especially in games, it's like the standard. And to see some change against that happening and more, I don't even want to say slowly, it's starting to happen kind of quickly. I think it's a great thing to see.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I think financially things are just getting a lot tighter as well over the years since the pandemic, and it's starting to show even more and more the work from home culture too, of like people realizing like, wait, like where have I wasted time with things, and you know, all of that meaning coming together and people realizing like, yeah, like if you're not at the top of some of these companies, like it can be very average or just bad, right? And like what I'm leading to with this is it's been so many just decades and decades of like capitalism and all of the above of like, well, that's just how the businesses are built and what the investors expect. But like these people at the top that have 5-bedroom homes, they're complacent that they're like, well, yeah, I have a 5-bedroom home because that's my job at my level. And sorry if you can barely make the rent and get food. Like that's where it breaks down, right? You got a third-year staff that's just like they're doing okay while you're super profiting. Maybe time to balance things out a little bit.
Yeah, it's all about the balance. It's all, again, to me, it's all about treating people right. As long as people are being treated well for like what they are doing and the expectations are being met, things are being asked, things are being done, things are being rewarded. And those all just kind of need to be equal across the board, I think. And we're seeing more and more of that. And again, as more and more acquisitions are happening in the space, I mean, Sega itself, like we were talking about acquisition stories last week with them acquiring Rovio. Right, that's going to create huge another issues, right? Power dynamics and everything, and like more layoffs are essentially guaranteed at this point. As they continue to roll out everywhere. So hopefully this ends up working out for them and creating a better workplace for the people at Sega, and then hopefully this makes sense for other places as well.
Yep.
Story number 3, everybody. Asus.
I honestly don't know. I say both.
Asus ROG Ally launches on May 11th and is going to be under $1,000. This comes from Katie Wickens at PC Gamer. The Asus ROG, is it the ROG?
It's actually Republic of Gamers is what it stands for, so it's probably ROG.
No, it's not.
But it's Republic of Gamers.
Really?
Yeah, that's their sub-brand. Asus. See, I say Asus, and then Republic of Gamers is their, like, I think it's their higher-end gaming stuff. Like, I have a number of Asus. Does that help?
Oh, it's Republic of Gamers, man. There's something about that that really rubs me
the wrong way. I better double check. Wait, am I going to get a correction?
That's a weird vibe. But also, like, when this comes out, can someone make a custom skin with Roger's face all over it?
Yes.
Oh, love that. The Asus Republic of Gamers Ally.
Yeah, there you go.
The Ally makes it even weirder. Has an official launch date of May 11th. It's Alfredo's birthday. That's a lot sooner than many of us expected to see the new Steam Deck rival, a Wii PC that Asus is promising will redefine handheld gaming. The company's been seeding us with some solid data ready for its upcoming launch event, including the super bright 120 Hz 7-inch screen's response time and the machine's confirmed pair of AMD Ryzen Z1 series chips. Asus is also promising 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate with each purchase, giving users instant access to hundreds of AAA and indie titles the moment they boot their Ally. That's really, really smart and an awesome move. That's a pretty neat way to get people up and running quickly and to get around the potential limitations of handheld hardware, noise, and battery life. There's been no admission on what sort of battery life we should be able to expect out of the ROG Ally. However, and also no real hints at the final price. The closest we got was an Asus representative assuring us that while the retail price was being held back for a reveal at the May 11th launch event, I can tell you for sure that the price will be below $1,000. So expect $999.99.
Yeah.
And then Tom Warren has a tweet here saying Microsoft's head of Xbox devices will be part of the Asus ROG Ally handhelds launch on May 11th. I doubt it's much more than the usual partner stuff, but I sure hope Microsoft's serious considering tailoring its Windows UI for Steam Deck competitors.
I wonder how it feels to hold, that's always
that is the big one, man. And I feel like as these things, we've seen a couple now, these the Steam Deck competitors come out. Logitech had its, and seeing this one come out, I feel like this is going to be a bit more on the beefier side, kind of trying to actually compete a little bit more head to head on the tech front.
Yeah.
Are you a Steam Deck? Do you have one?
No, I don't. I would love one.
Any interest in one?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's holding you back?
The money. Yeah, I'm just not going to spend the money on that, like versus everything else. But I also don't travel as much, and I don't like lay in bed and play games, and so like my use case is a lot lower on it too. But back when I traveled a lot more and was always on the road or headed here, etc., having one, like I always used to carry my Switch around, right? So
yeah,
that's what I was going to ask is like, how does this stack up in the world of Steam Decks, the Republic of Gamers Ally from Asus, and maybe if PlayStation's working on something. I mean, do you see that Switch spurned all of this? I'm kind of curious. Do you think Steam Deck would have happened and this would have happened regardless?
I think it's one of those things where like hindsight's 2020, and I don't think necessarily that it's like just because of the Switch, but I do think that the Switch opened a market differently and like changed the way we understand handheld gaming, or portable gaming is probably a better way to put it at this point.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some of the charm of the Steam Deck is the ability to plug it into a TV, and
right.
just take it with you and have like just like a mobile desktop essentially, that's not a laptop, that is more gaming focused, and built around delivering that experience. But I think that there's just I've said this a million times, this console generation, but I feel like this is the first gen where Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo are all kind of doing their own things. They have their own priorities and their own kind of voice and vision in terms of what you expect, whether it's Nintendo doing the actual Switch thing of they no longer have the 3DS and console. It's just one thing that they're providing games for, and they're the Nintendo experiences we expect. PlayStation continuing to define those like quadruple, quintuple A, like blockbuster experiences we expect. And then Xbox with the Game Pass kind of methodology of like, it's going to be about quantity. It's going to be the subscription. We're going to focus on from indies to AAA of just kind of giving you a lot of things over time. Then you have the PC side of things.
Trying to describe the Xbox strategy as we wait. But you're right.
But it is. And it's successful there
but it's
for
also,
that reason.
Once we have things like Starfield, hopefully is a banger, and And I'm not disagreeing with it. It's just funny to hear like, oh man, PlayStation quintuple, because they have it on lockdown. Stuff's already out the door. We know where Nintendo's been at for many, many years. I won't get into it. And then Xbox is like, well, they got this subscription and lots of stuff on there.
One day.
The Domino's.
Just kidding, I like Xbox Game Pass, for the record. I've defended stuff like Halo Infinite, which is going to come around, but anyway. Getting us off track.
Yeah, no, it's not off track. I mean, look, that is...
It's funny to hear you describe them all back to back.
Yeah, but I think at least in terms of vision and in terms of like their priorities and what the proofs of the pudding, what they have done. So I'm not just like talking out of my ass. Like, this is what they have done and what they're continuing to do so far. But the PC side of things, I think, is very interesting because this generation as well, I think PC has defined itself as like the biggest increase in the pie chart of gamers that it's ever been. Like, I feel like the PC is now a tenant of the of video games in a way that it used to be more of a niche thing, where it was like PC gamers played Counter-Strike or they played Warcraft or they played whatever. Now PC gamers are playing the same games we're playing on console.
Yes. Yeah. And at large, like you're saying. I mean, PC gaming has become very cool. Don't listen to Greg Miller. It is absolutely awesome, and it always looks a lot better than your PlayStation 5s, okay? Much as I love the PlayStation 5.
It looks gorgeous, but it runs at 5 frames a second. You know what I'm saying, Tim?
I know what you're saying, baby.
But yeah, like, it is part of the Xbox strategy, though. You forget the Windows side, the PC side, Xbox, Game Pass PC, etc. But for those asking, the ROG Ally runs on Windows. I was just looking that up. According to The Verge hands-on here that they published, I was trying to see if it was an OLED screen. I didn't quite find that, but
I doubt it.
It's going to be expensive. It's going to run Windows. Will the battery hold up for long enough to make it worth your while, however you're traveling with it? I mean, most people, right, it's going to be on the bus, in a car, on a plane, or at school or work.
See, I'd be really interested in this. Like, this is what we were talking about earlier with the handheld versus portable, like the weird little nomenclature that comes with this, where I am very interested in the average use cases of the Steam Deck and of those type of products. Because I think that the Switch, there is that, because of how Nintendo games are designed and because of the user base that it has, I would be willing to bet that it's a pretty balanced thing between people that play docked, people that play undocked, people that exclusively have their Switch at home, or people that bring their Switch with them places.
Yeah.
With the Steam Deck, I get the vibe that, yes, there are the enthusiasts that travel and take it with them and all of that. But I see it more as a convenient way to be able to play your games like in different rooms of your house, as opposed to taking it with you. Which I know doesn't sound like that big of a difference, but I do think that changes the expectations and requirements for the battery life.
Yes. Yeah, no, you make a good point. Like, I skipped that. That's a big one. People just sitting around, like, with their families and friends, and, like, they might just be playing Switch while somebody watches TV. The whole, like, original, like, commercial that they did that we at first were like, huh, that's interesting, like, is legit. And people get, like, all the time I see people do, I'm like, why don't you just plug it in? They're like, I'm good. And I'm like, but like, they might even have a TV and a dock available, but they're good.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different
way
to play.
might look better handheld because than on a big-ass 4K TV, but that's a different conversation.
A lot better. Don't even get me started. We don't have a 1080p Zelda still in 2023. I mean, I don't have the data on the new one, but I guarantee you it's not going to be native 1080p.
Am I going to be a nasty little boy and still play it on my big 4K OLED? Like
you should.
Little fuck? Yeah, I am.
The good news is it will look good because of Nintendo's good at handling their style.
It's a little smushy.
849p or whatever it ends up at. But anyway, I got off track on that one. What was I even saying?
We're talking about like kind of like where the ROG Ally kind of fits into all of this. Yeah, and I feel like it makes sense that there's going to be a lot of these, and I think that from what I know of the Republic of Gamers stuff, it's like they do phones as well, and like they represent a niche of a niche where it's like they are kind of the more like, we're the fucking gamers. Things are gonna have LED lights everywhere. This thing's gonna have fucking raw power, man. And I feel like Steam Deck is a bit more like, yo, we're trying to make things verified, and like we use Steam and all this. This being Windows, I think it represents the more PC enthusiast side of these things, as opposed to like the Steam Deck, which I think is targeted towards that more core PC gamer that I was talking about earlier that we've gained this generation.
Yeah. No, I mean, you nailed it. It's like, it is a miniature PC that you can play like Switch in your house. I think that's a good way to look at it, more than anything, probably. And then you can dock it, and you have like a mini PC that, we'll see. I don't know if the dock provides any other benefits. It looks like it's just plugged into a display port, but it's also, I'm looking at a photo where it's hooked up to like another device, which I'm assuming
more
it's just
info on May 11th. Like, I
think that's just like USB connecting things. So my guess is you're not going to get more power with a dock on it without. I haven't read on it at all.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
but it's expensive.
And exactly. I mean, PC gaming tends to be when it comes to the high end side of it.
So to cap it off, ultimately, if you're going to sit around your house or maybe bring it with you and be careful with it, it could be really awesome as long as it feels good and doesn't have like crashing problems. But if you just want to play PC games, then you're going to get way better quality for the price of whatever this is by just buying a PC.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like this is all miniaturized and not going to perform nearly as well for the same price. But of course, you know that
it's use case stuff. Yeah, I feel like the thing I'm most interested here is the Xbox integration, where them giving the months of Game Pass is huge, and on top of that, it being based on Windows. Like, we keep talking about this, that like Game Pass slowly is just kind of infiltrating everybody, where it's like, cool, the focus on the Samsung TV gaming hub stuff, where Xbox Game Pass is just on Samsung TVs. You buy it and it's just there, and you can pay for it, and then you can just play games.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you're getting the trial on this thing, and it's the more places Xbox Game Pass is and just works and is enticing people that are interested in the hundreds of games from indie all the way up. Guess what? Indie games are going to run great on this.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that is the strategy that Xbox has been really kind of betting on, that hopefully is then met with the Starfields and things like that later, where people will be playing Starfield via Game Pass on the ROG Ally later this year. Maybe?
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe, Barrett?
Just put Roger's face on it. That's all I need.
And thanks to chat and a quick look, according to The Verge, the XG Mobile eGPU docking station gives you far more powerful graphics with a single cable. So apparently they also have some additional juice in the dock. Man, this thing is going to be expensive.
That's where tech's at, baby. Like, I think it's interesting that like we're just at this point that like things that we would want, like we would want the ability to upgrade things and make them run better when you plug it in, all that stuff. That's PC gaming, baby. But you know what else is a great deal? That's not even a segue. Patreon.com/kindafunny gets this show ad free, but for everyone else, guess what? You're in my ad world, baby. Here they are. Shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use. Or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You out there. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at KindaFunny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. We're back, everybody. Story number 4. Sony's Shuhei Yoshida says AI will change the nature of learning for developers. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. SIE's Shuhei Yoshida, aka Shu, has discussed the major impact AI is set to have on game development. In an interview with The Guardian, Yoshida was asked what he thinks about developers' concerns that AI could replace human effort in disciplines like art, music, and coding. Yoshida said developers will need to learn new skills to effectively use AI, which he believes will ultimately have a positive impact on game development. Quote, "It's a tool. Someone has to use the tool. AI can produce very strange things, as you must have seen. You really have to be able to use the tool well. AI will change the nature of learning for game developers, but in the end, development will be more efficient and more beautiful things will be made by people. People might not even need to learn programming anymore. If they have learned how to use these tools of the future, the creativity is more important, the direction, how you envision what you want." Yoshida gave The Guardian an example of how AI is being used by smaller teams to help them create projects that might otherwise be out of their capability. Quote, "I was going through 15 pitches in a competition for indies in Japan just this morning, and one of them had amazing, beautiful graphics made by a small team of students. They said they used Midjourney, the AI art generator, to create the art. That's powerful. That's a small number of young people that can create an amazing looking game. In the future, AI could develop interesting animations, behaviors, and even do debugging for your program." AI conversation continues, Fran.
Yeah.
Where are you at with all this?
I mean, I agree with Shu's optimism. And what I mean by that is like it's early, and yeah, like we've seen some really amazing stuff from AI, and I think about that a lot now, generating concept art and background. But like, yeah, it's hard to replace like a cohesive vision and creativity for like if you look at games like whether it's Tears of the Kingdom or Elden Ring, or like Elden Ring's a very good example where you're like that is a twisted, crazy fantasy. It's gorgeous, it's wondrous. Could AI come up with all of that in the same way without somebody helping it along? Probably not right now. And that's why I'm like, you know, it's amazing to see how much it's progressing. So like, who's to say in 5-10 years, can we teach AI to be more creative and consistent? And like, it's already just getting out the gate, you know? So it's definitely scary. Because I think everybody's thinking about that. Like, will it be replacing their jobs? Like, just think concept artists. Like, we already have stuff like Fiverr, which is a workforce of people that work for much cheaper than hiring people, right? And sometimes people are like, "Oh, I'll just get an editor on Fiverr," and like, it's somebody in another part of the world that will work for way cheaper than somewhere else. And now you plug in AI, which is other than the people like running the software, et cetera, it's like doesn't charge you. You know, so it's scary in terms of like potentially putting people out of work. If it's like, hey, I need concept art for this new thing I'm working on. You could potentially right now or very soon get a pretty good, you know, storyboard out of like AI. So, but yeah, I don't think there's any replacement between that and like getting to like Elden Ring right now. But we'll see in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely a lot to be scared of, and for good reason when it comes to all this in terms of people's jobs, but also just in terms of like the artistry and the control of everything. I do think that at the end of the day, what Shu's saying is right. It is a tool, and it depends on how people are using it. There's so many, for every pro, there's a con. I think when it comes to the AI stuff, because like even hear them talking about Mid-Journey, where it's like a lot of that stuff is like it's taking art that they don't own to then repurpose and turn into something else.
Yeah, it's learned.
But you know what that reminds me of? People doing Let's Plays, and everyone gets upset that Nintendo doesn't allow people to Twitch stream their game. It's a very similar situation. Like, not everything is perfectly ethically correct and all that, but it's the reality we're in. And it comes down to this eventual gut understanding of what's right and what's wrong, and people working together to create things. And I think that there's going to have to be standards. And I feel like that is the biggest concern I have, is that this is going to grow and like fix itself too quickly for people to be able to stop and be like, what are the rules around this? Like, what are the what's the correct kind of moral compass on how we're going to work with this technology that is incredibly helpful? And AI, it's not like it's a new thing. It's been around for a very long time, and so many things that we use every day have been using it. I mean, including video games, right?
Yeah.
So, and your phones and all this stuff, like Google, and like the way you search for things and all this, it's like AI is incredibly important. But we need to be able to be in control of that AI.
Yeah. It definitely occurs to me that, I mean, we're going to be getting to that point of, in the same way where it's like supporting content creators and, you know, folks like that versus, say, the big companies and the corporations. And now you've also got AI in the mix. And in other words, I feel like we almost will be getting to the point you kind of need some disclosure where it's like, wait, how much of this was supported with like real humans versus AI, you know? And like, that's, again, it's a scary world, but like, I think that's going to be really important, is understanding what you're supporting that as this grows, right? Like, it's the same as when you order off Amazon versus like a mom and pop shop. It's a big decision, actually, because you're going to put the mom and pop shop out of business, and you should think about that stuff. And AI is now going to play.
But having said that, it doesn't make you a bad person for buying on Amazon.
No. Yeah,
all I'm just saying is like there is the thing of like, you're right, where it's like you should support the mom and grop shops where possible, because like they need the help more than Amazon. But there's the convenience of Amazon that people have bought into, and that has all kind of worked into how the expectations of things. And so that to me is where it's like there's so many like laws and or labor issues with Amazon that people talk about all the time. That's the stuff that I think is important, is like exposing where the issues are with the things. And with AI right now, the issues are abundant. They are everywhere, and they are easily pointed out.
Yeah, and it may just be preferential. Like, I guess I think about that a lot more as like, of course, now being more of a self-authorship, you know, as like people who are out there doing it on their own and as part of like freelancers and artists. And that's what I'm thinking about here, is like, hopefully we're not hearing all of a sudden tons of stories about all these artists that they were freelancers, but now they can't even find work because AI is just, it's easier, you know, it's the Fiverr of that now. But best case scenario, and it's still early on, is like, this will help speed up game development and let them do more things. I mean, that's the way I think everybody probably is looking at it, and hopefully implementing it as part of whatever Epic is doing as part of Unreal and building their AI suite. And that's where you want to see it, like, speed up things, let creative people do even better things versus replace what they're doing.
Yeah.
Give them more time.
Absolutely. And like the way I see this stuff too is like, I am an optimist when it comes to a lot of the technology stuff, and like, you can disagree with me, but that's fine.
Maybe I will.
But here with the last statement he said about the small team that was making a pitch and all that stuff, I look at this as like, they're not going to end up making an AI game. I'm looking at this as like, they are now finding talent that have the creative vision, that know how to use these things to do a good pitch, to then be able to create something with potentially PlayStation.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the indie side or not, as Shuhei and that team have proven they support year after year after year with the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah.
Story number 5, Metacritic pledges stricter moderation after Horizon Forbidden West DLC gets review bombed. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. Popular review aggregation site Metacritic has pledged to introduce stricter moderation after Sony's Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC was review bombed by users. God, fucking get a life, you fucking
parasites.
losers. Holy shit. Horizon Forbidden West story expansion was released last week and was widely praised by critics for its story and gameplay additions. However, one plot point appears to have led the game being review bombed on Metacritic, where it currently has a user score of 4 and was as low as 2.7. The plot point seemingly inspired many users to give the game a critical rating on the site. In response to the review bombing, Metacritic and fandom told Eurogamer they're aware of the abusive and disrespectful reviews of Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores and claimed they were currently evolving our processes and tools to introduce stricter moderation in the coming months. No spoilers, by the way. Not going to spoil this for you. Fandom is a place of belonging for all fans, and we take online trust and safety very seriously across all our sites, including Metacritic. The statement reads, Metacritic is aware of the abusive and disrespectful reviews of Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, and we have a moderation system in place to track violations of our terms of use. Our team reviews each and every report of abuse, including but not limited to racist, sexist, homophobic, insults to others, etc., and if violations occur, the reviews are removed. We're currently evolving our processes and tools to introduce stricter moderation in the coming months.
How did this not happen for Last of Us Part 2? You know?
Did it not?
I feel like that was like a huge thing. Like
it did, didn't it?
Probably did,
but apparently not well enough.
But I mean, I think that it did. But then the reviews eventually got deleted, so we don't see it. But I mean, I feel like that was a news story. I mean, I feel like anytime there's a woman, pretty much, this ends up happening, which is fucking horrible. And we see this on the movie side as well, like Captain Marvel and all of that. It's like. I mean, here, the user score, right? 5.3 on Metacritic for Last of Us Part 2. As everybody can unanimously agree, Last of Us Part 2 is a 5.3 out of 10, right, Fran?
0.8.
Oh, it's an 8?
Yeah.
Damn.
Get some glasses.
No, it's not glasses. That is
I know, the
do not put white
great.
on fucking yellow.
I mean, I can read it fine.
I mean, yeah. Anyways,
glasses,
don't do this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was like paging through. There's like 0s and 1s and 4s in the Metacritic. Like, it's so absurd. Like 0? I didn't even know you could give a game a 0. What does that even mean? Like that's like does not work. That should be the like literally it does. That's a 0. There's no rounding down of like past a 1. Anyway, is that real? Am I seeing this right? I didn't know you could give a game a 0 because it does not make any sense. So all of y'all that are on here giving games 0s, you've exposed yourself as an absolute idiot. Like, because you can't give a game a 0. I'm sorry. Anyway, Metacritic shouldn't allow that. But anyway, I don't know what they got in a tizzy about. Were you hinting that it might have had something to do with the story?
I don't know. I'm just like, we're not spoiling it.
Okay.
I had Bless go in and make sure to take out whatever references to whatever it was in here. But again, it's Horizon. It stars a woman. Like, I feel like we don't need to go too much further than that. Spoilers, not spoilers, whatever it is. That is a triggering thing for people for some reason. So
Agile babies.
I'm interested in what this is going to result in, because it's not like this is the first time this has happened, whether it's on the gaming side of things or on the entertainment side of things. And there's a real question of like what the value is of the user scores on these things. And I understand that there's the demand for it and that people are asking, but it's like, it seems more often than not that the user stuff kind of creates more issues than good when it comes to the review side of things, of giving it an actual, like the aggregated score side of it. Whereas the function of the website is to aggregate the scores of critics. But people want the balance of critics versus users to be able to present both sides of it. But this is what both sides look like.
Well, this is why you don't trust an amalgamation of user reviews, for starters. So it's nice when it lines up and you're like, well, it seems like users agree. But the problem is, like, think of how many of your friends or the friends of your friends who you're like, that was the dumbest take I have heard. And like, it's just this like dishwater. And I'm not hating on a user review. I think they're really important. But what I'm getting at is like the gradient of understanding who's like a decent take. It's really hard to separate that out. To have like, is this review helpful? But you know, people are saying the 0 reviews are helpful. So there's your problem. Idiots helping other idiots. But One, so be very careful of user reviews. This is like sort of obvious is all I will say. Even I have a problem even with critic reviews in the sense of
the whole thing is like be aware of the context of who the review is. Like
right.
The whole conversation, and this is going off topic just a little bit. But a couple weeks ago when the Mario movie drops and everyone's all up in a tizzy about the critics reviews versus the user reviews. Who gives a shit? Like the critics reviewed the movie and that's what they thought. They're like, should they like change, like lie and change their opinion about the movie? Like the people that are not attached to Nintendo or video games or Mario or whatever, watch that movie and it didn't resonate with them. That's fine. That's the review that they gave it. And you reading that context, I feel like should be fairly obvious. And when you listen to them talk, when you read their reviews, they kind of make that explicitly clear in the words that are backing up their review.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
just
I mean, that's sort of
it.
rather important part of it. Yeah. But and I didn't get to finish what I was saying when I said I have a problem with critic reviews. What I mean by that is on Metacritic, it's a boiling down of a ton of reviews and like it's built to give you this like it's like, you know, a guiding wind. But you're supposed to click on it and see who reviewed what, read what they said, who is the person doing the review, try to get familiar with them. You know, the point is, if you just take Metacritic reviews that's how you get your reviews, I think you're doing a poor job of getting what might be really important information and takes for you. Like, meaning Metacritic is just like, it's a guiding, wind. So be very careful with any amalgamation of reviews.
Totally.
You know?
But my thing is, I appreciate it because that's what it is. It is an amalgamation. It is a snapshot. And my thing is, these are critics that are vetted. These are things that like, it's not just a bunch of random people. It's like, these are people that are working for sites there's a credibility to it. So there's an expectation that, hey, these people know what they're talking about for whatever reason it is. That's not always going to be the case. That's a problem. That means that somewhere along the line, somebody's not doing their job correctly. But when it comes to the user side of things, there's no rules there. It's just kind of the Wild West. But like that is something to keep into consideration too, where again, I do see value in all of it, but I do think that it's just kind of unfortunate that it kind of seems like the aggregate of the critic number represents a bunch of critics' thoughts on this that don't need to reflect yours, don't even need to all be the same, any of that.
Yeah.
But on the user side, it can easily be weaponized because there's not that barrier of entry of qualification, whatever that means. So you can kind of like try to like push these weird narratives as opposed to actually reviewing the game. People reviewing games on Metacritic for the critics are verified to have experienced the thing. Whereas or at least they should be. Whereas the users are not being verified that they even watched. The people are review bombing before the game's even out.
And again, I felt like this should have been fixed with The Last of Us, you know?
Straight up, yeah, like that. And so I'm at the end of the day, I'm happy that they're talking about it being a problem. Metacritic themselves acknowledging this and wanting to fix it, I think is a step beyond the expectation I would have for this. But we'll see how quickly this kind of rolls out and what it means.
You know what would be a reasonable step forward as a solution? I don't know if it exists at all. I don't think so. But Steam tracks your hours played and is an awesome thing to do. If you've never done this, you can't do it for Burning Shores, obviously. It's not out on PC yet. But you can go in and filter by people that played it for more than 5 hours, more than 10. And you can literally start to see, like it goes from the review bombs normally to the people who actually played it. You start to realize it's getting up to the 6s, the 7s, the 8s, whatever it actually is. And you realize, like they haven't even played it. And what I was going to say is, you look at a company like PlayStation in this case. Yeah, why doesn't, if they don't, which I don't think so, but like PlayStation should have official reviews as part of its site and hours played, and you should be able to filter by that. And then Metacritic could use that in an API and actually plug that in and say users who've played more than whatever, even just 3 hours, and they could literally expose that or something. But I mean, honestly, I think stuff like that, PlayStation should look into, Xbox should look into. Yeah. If they haven't.
Yeah, I think it was Daryl in the chat said that critics aren't scientists or something, like their reviews don't matter. The thing is, it's the context. I think context is the most important thing. When what's up? You a scientist?
No. Well, my dad's a scientist, but critics. Dr.
You're talking about my father, Fran Mirabella, the second.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Mirabella is a different guy. But no, like, meaning, well, because I consider myself a critic. I assume you do too. I was like, hey,
But that's what I'm saying. It's the context. People come to me. I'm not saying that I'm a scientist. I'm not saying that my opinion matters more than you. There's a context of you understand what I do. You understand my knowledge base. You understand what we do here at Kinda Funny. There's an accountability that we hold each other to. There's an understanding that I'm not going to tell you I did something if I didn't. There's a trust that when I play a game and I give a review, I'm going to tell you how much of it I experienced or didn't experience. Or like when I watch a movie, like the Mario movie, for example, I will give you the caveat of I loved it because I'm a lifelong Nintendo fan and it meant so much to me and I saw it 4 times and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's the context of being a critic and like letting people know what your opinion is and why that matters. When it comes to the user stuff, it's like there's not that context.
Yeah. I'm a lot swirling in my brain there. One is being a critic is not a science, and it is not intended to be. And the number, if that's confusing you, it is not about it being a science. There is no right number, and that goes back to what I said. Is like you're supposed to know who did the review, what are the outlet standards, who actually reviewed it, though. That's why every time I talk about reviews, I'm like, I don't say GameSpot reviewed it. I say Lucy James reviewed it or whatever, right? Like I put a name to it, and it's super important. So know who's doing the reviews. But my point is, if you don't need reviews, then yeah, like you don't need them. They're not for you. You just go and experience things, and if you regret it, and the money doesn't matter to you, then that's cool. Other people are like, I only buy 2 things a year. I'm kind of wondering, should I wait on this one or not? And that's where it is a super valuable service for tons of people. Ultimately, that's what it's about. It's about saving you time because time is important to you, and you'd rather go up to Napa if you live around here instead of playing this game because it sucks, or the money part's really important, and you can't afford to like waste your money on a middling product. And so critics are super important in that, but find the good ones, follow the good ones, etc. It's super important. That's why,
that's the whole personality thing, and like something that we offer, right? Of like our personal, being able to connect and give our personal things that people can look at and be like, oh, like I connect with like how Tim sees video games. It's all about finding the people that see art similarly to you. So
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, when Kevin says something, you're like, oh, I'm the opposite of that for sure. But that's like, because I know him, I'm like, well, that's helpful.
That is helpful.
Kevin loves it.
That is exactly my point.
Yeah. I'm just kidding, Kevin.
Yeah.
Peace out.
If Kevin and Fran ever agree on something, finding that out is so far away. Fran, if I want to know what's coming to Mom and Grop shops today, where would I look?
Well, the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily show host each and every weekday. Yeah.
It's Tuesday, so we got a whole bunch of games. We have After Image on everything, Strayed Lights on everything, Roots of Pacha on PC, Trinity Trigger on everything, Stranded Alien Dawn on everything, Fairy Fencer F Refrain Chord on PC, PS4, 5, and Switch, Magical Drop 6 on PC and Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed DLC coming to Switch. I know a lot of people are excited about that, so enjoy your day with that. Drop System Breach on Switch and War Mongrels on everything. Deals of the day for you. Immortals Phoenix Rising on Xbox is $9.80 on Amazon, so you can check that out. I missed this. Some new dates. Ghostopia Season 1 launches May 23rd for the Switch, and Star Trek Resurgence launches May 23rd for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, 5, and PC. Let's do a thing I like to call kindafunny.com/you're wrong to see what we got wrong during the show. Oh my Lord. Either something is broken or we just didn't even get a single response today, Fran. Like, I know we didn't get
Sounds
anything
like
wrong.
something's broken.
Me and you are
every
perfect.
time. Yeah, definitely.
10 out of 10. Never fucking forget. That's a Metacritic review for you. That's a critical review, Snowbike Mike.
Yeah, that's right.
All right,
Ignore the user reviews.
We're not one of these fucking users like Kevin Coelho out there. It doesn't even make
that's
sense.
Right.
But,
You can't trust that guy.
But yeah, nothing. Not even editorializing. So, hey, I appreciate you all. Thank you for keeping us honest by just letting us be honest.
Oh, no,
all right?
Kevin's here.
Kevin's
What?
here. Kevin's here.
No, we didn't say anything.
What we want, what's something that you and Fran agree on?
We actually agree on a lot of. Oh, love chocolate milk.
Both love chocolate milk.
We've
Here we
never
go.
talked
We did
about
it,
that.
everyone.
But he's right. I do love chocolate milk. But what kind of chocolate milk, Kevin?
Strauss chocolate milk, everybody.
Sounds good.
Get on it. So we're about to wrap up the show right now, but I wanted to let you know that tomorrow's hosts are Blessing and me, and then Thursday, Blessing and WWE superstar Austin Creed is going to be here hosting Games Daily, then KFW, then the Greg Miller 40th birthday, or not anniversary, birthday stream. It's going to be so much fun. We're all hanging out here. Austin will be hanging out with us. I can't wait to see him, and I can't wait to celebrate Big Daddy Greg Miller for his 40th birthday. 40.
Dang, his birthday's this Friday, basically?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. Thursday. Yeah.
I gotta play Star Wars. Sorry,
I get it.
I can't make it. Grab just.
And Greg Miller's birthday, April 27th. Snowbike Mike. Never forget this. It's also my dog Moose's third birthday.
Oh, yes.
All right. Pamplemousse. Third birthday, April 27th. And then Friday, it'll be me and Bless as well. So it's going to be a great week. So much fun stuff. But remember, if you're watching live, we're trying something new. We're doing a little post-show to Games Daily to segue into the daily streams. We'll be answering all of your YouTube super chats. Snowbike Mike's going to join us, get the energy going. If you have questions about video games, if you have questions for Fran, I always love when we have special guests here because you get to kind of get some more very specific
Destiny comments.
If you want Destiny, if you want some hair tips, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fran's here. Ask the questions. We will answer them. But this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We come at you with all the video game news that you need to know. But until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. And here we are. Mike joining the fold for our fun little show. Fran, I love doing shows with you.
Oh, it's always a blast.
You're so particularly Fran, and that just makes everything so much better. Like, it throws me off when I don't hang around you for a while.
Yeah, it comes at you like
it's like, oh my
a little
God.
fast, right? It's the coffee as well.
It's great, man.
Kicks in.
It's so great. Mike, you haven't had too much time with Fran overall, and that bums me out.
Me and Fran have had a fair amount of time, a pretty good amount of time.
Well,
I mean,
but off the show.
Not as much as
off the show.
Yeah, off the show.
I was just about to say, I think, didn't we do a Kind of Funny Games
we
Daily
did.
way back in the day?
Way back in the day, and back in the OG studio is right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember, by the way, well, I won't get off topic, but I was going to say, I don't think we've ever been on camera like this, so very special
this
time.
will be first. Well, yo, what the heck is going on, Kind of Funny best friends? Welcome to your KFGD post show, where I join your Kind of Funny Games Daily host. We dive in to some of your questions, comments, and concerns. Of course, if you're watching live over on YouTube, you can super chat with those questions. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into one of today's news stories, if you want to ask Tim, hey, how you looking so good in that jacket today? Or if you want to bring up a different gaming topic of discussion, we're going to read those out. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some fun with you. Of course, if you're watching over on Twitch, you can still get involved as well if you resubscribe at the tier 1 through 3 level, or if you're a brand new subscriber with Prime Gaming, don't forget you get that free sub each and every 30 days. You can leave a message with that, and of course, we will read that as well. Fran, do me a favor. Pass me over that laptop. I'll jump into the super chats. But
Can I unplug it?
Yeah, unplug that to make it safer. For you, Fran, I want to know, give me your honest opinion right now. The new location in Destiny 2.
Neomuna.
Did you think it was all that in a bag of chips, or did they miss the mark?
Well, you're only giving me two big options there. There's nothing in the middle.
One of the either it hit it or it didn't.
But the short of it is, I love that they went with this neon style visuals.
Yes.
And they actually really focused on a lot of overall, a lot of things happening at a higher intensity. So it's solid.
Okay.
It's sort of as expected, though, if that makes sense. And it goes back to what I already said. Like, it's just been where it's at. You know, we look back to it's better actually than the Witch Queen, Savathun homeworld there, the throne world. It's better than that, actually. I think from a vibe and perspective and just things going on. So, but it didn't surprise me otherwise. And I think to end that, Lightfall as a campaign in that world definitely missed the mark a bit and fell flat at parts. And I think that's where that area stands out for people where they're like, I don't like Neomuna. But I think it's because of the campaign more than anything.
Okay. I like that, Fran. I like that. Let's jump in to some super chats because Calvin P. wrote in and says, question for after the news. What was your most heartbreaking leak that spoiled you? Tim, when you think about all the leaks that you and Fran have been a part of throughout all of your years in the industry, what was one where you're like, man, I'm heartbroken after that?
Like a spoiler.
Big old spoiler.
I already shared the big one, but
what's your big one, Fran? Tell us
if you
quick.
weren't, Sean Finnegan spoiled one a major death in Avengers Endgame for me. I hadn't seen it yet. We were live.
Oh,
on the show.
in the movie? Yeah.
Yeah, we were live on a show like this, Fire Team Chat, and he's in the middle of it. He's like, it's like when so-and-so dies. That sucked. And I was like, I hadn't seen it yet.
I've got a good one.
Got him.
Oh, yeah, you do?
An unexpected one, too.
Okay.
And this was like before really the age of like where we're at now with the internet, right? This was back when I lived in Ohio. I was a big Will Smith fan, as you know, back in the day. He was coming out banger after banger in movies in the 2000s. Very anticipated for this movie called I Am Legend. You may have heard of that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My little shit cousin comes over one day and just tells me the entire ending of the movie. I was like, what the fuck, man? I wanted to go see that. Still watched it later, still enjoyed it. But that was the first memory I have of being like actively spoiled on something I was anticipating.
That's so funny. Yeah, I Am Legend, man. What a movie. My favorite thing about that movie, in like hindsight, is that they had the poster for Batman versus Superman, and it was like, oh my god, can you imagine if that movie would ever come out? And then the movie came out, like it was a fake movie back then. My answer is weird. It's different. I think that the leak that has bummed me out the most is Resident Evil 3 remake leaking before it was announced at State of Play, because I think that poisoned the well of understanding of what a State of Play can be and the expectations of it. And I think that it being a announcement that was at the State of Play and it ended that, people were so bummed out. It was like, whatever, like acted like it wasn't a big deal, that we're fucking getting an RE3 remake a year after RE2 remake. That was huge. And I think because of that, the reaction to the State of Play overall was so kind of like, I think Sony looked at that, and since then, I think the State of Plays have had a different like view at like going into them, and that bums me out because I feel like had that not leaked, I think that State of Plays could potentially be something really different nowadays. I know that's getting really kind of like making a lot of assumptions, but I stand by it and I believe it.
Fran, do you stand by that? Watching all these presentations, all these special presents, do you agree with that?
I don't know. Tim, I'm not close enough to it, I would say, on that. And part of the story there is just like, I mean, I was in the business of leaks forever, and like meaning reporting and finding and also knowing things under NDA before they were announced, and like
the GameCube. Did you know this, Mike?
No.
What about
you knew about the GameCube?
Well, I mean, we knew lots of things about the game. I mean, yeah, dude.
Fran was like the mother. He was the guy.
It wasn't just. Dude.
Fran was a little rat at Nintendo going through there. He's like, "Where's all those uncles? We're gonna find them, and we're gonna get the Nintendo information about the GameCube,
folks
the Dolphin."
Yeah. I mean, folks like Matt Casamassina and Pear and other reporters that were already at IGN already had lots of connections, and like, but you'd get stuff all the time, and some stuff you'd share, some stuff you did not. But my point is, like, I'm sort of resilient, I think, to that stuff. So it's hard for me to remember like a game leak where it leaked and I didn't already know from an NDA, or like, because the E3s, right? We knew the whole, well, not the whole, but a lot of the E3 press conference lineups and stuff before they happened. And so I don't know. It doesn't, other than being spoiled on something, I don't have a memory.
Okay,
Sorry.
I like that. Well, let's keep it going right now, because Tatman to the Rescue has wrote in and says, it's hard to pick a favorite, but Fran really is something special.
That's not a question.
That's just a nice little compliment right there.
Any tips for that?
They
thank you.
Wrote in a $5 super chat to let you know, Fran, to make you smile today.
Tatman to the Rescue. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
There you go.
I love being here.
It's so accurate, though. Like, I know you know this, Fran, but like, I don't know that there's anybody that makes me smile as much as you. Like, just always. Like, when I hang out with you, I go home and my face hurts. You know what I mean? It's just a good time.
Fran,
wow,
that's really nice.
I got to come here more often. Thank you.
You should be here more often, Fran. You know, we stream from 11 to 2 every single day. If you want to come and get involved anytime.
Play a little Warzone with you and Nick.
We play a lot of Warzone. We like Warzone over there. We're going to check out X Defiant today for the final day of the open, or I should say open/closed beta. It's a weird blend because you're inviting your own friends.
Yeah, it is a closed beta, but X Defiant's cool if you haven't checked it out.
Yeah, we're going to check it out today, me and Nick. Nick is going to give the determination if it's valid or if it's salad. So we'll find out.
I saw that in chat.
Salad or salad.
If it's valid and or
I'll
salad.
ask after, because I'm sure we don't have time for that explanation.
Give me your quick thoughts of X Defiant right now.
X Defiant is from an executive producer from Infinity Ward, Mark Rubin, who actually set out to do his own studio, I think, right before the pandemic. And then, I had traced it back. It was, I think, called Quantum Giant Games or something. But then nothing happened, and then Ubisoft picked him up, and presumably some of that team. I think they were making like a spin-off of Call of Duty on their own. Ubisoft's like, hey, we got our world of Tom Clancy. And anyway, long story short, it is very, Call of Duty with like abilities from Division and
Okay.
and Splinter Cell. Like one of the supers is like this, night vision, silence pistol, and you just take these people down. You can throw a health canister on the floor.
Dang.
So, the basis of it is like a lot of Call of Duty with a little bit of this Overwatchy ability vibe, but not that far gone in terms of like being a hero shooter. So it's cool, and I think it has a lot of potential, and it's free to play. So Ubisoft's onto something here. The name is terrible, though.
Terrible.
But
if the game's good, it can win over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not a thing till you're a thing. And I always say this, like I've told this story before, I'll say it again. I will never fucking forget sitting around Greg's kitchen table as we're trying to come up with the name of like, we're not Game Over Greggy anymore. What are we going to be? What is the thing? And we're coming up with all these names. We're trying to figure out. And there was, of course, can we get the URL? Can we get the Twitter ads? Can we do all this stuff? So it's not just as simple as like come up with a good name. There's like a bunch of other factors. But I remember coming up with Kind of Funny and being like, it started with like, what are we? It's like, we're kind of funny. Like, that's all that we are, And Nick was like, no. Like, I hate it. And it was just like, it doesn't sound like a thing. It doesn't sound like Rooster Teeth or SourceFed or BuzzFeed. And I was just like, you're right. I was like, but those things didn't sound like those things until they did. And here we fucking are. Kind of Funny is a thing.
Totally.
Woo, baby.
And that's why exactly. It won't matter.
I love you, Nick.
In the end. Honestly, it's up to the marketing, and they're only in closed beta. So we'll see if they can come out the door. I had forgotten about it, though, legit, and I saw people streaming it. I thought it was from some random new developer out of Asia maybe that I hadn't heard of that got new funding, one of those. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's that game from Ubisoft? I wanted to play that. I legitimately forgot. But anyway, it got a lot of good buzz. So it's cool.
Let's keep it going. Olive Party writes in with a super chat. Can we talk about Fran's history with Hello Kitty and Friends Happiness Parade and when the review will drop? Fran, I need to know what's up with Hello Kitty and Friends Happiness Parade and your thoughts on that.
Is Greg available to call right now?
Yes,
always.
Yes,
I'm going to try to call him. But I honestly don't know where this is coming from. People have come into my chat saying Greg said you were going to review this. Or something. So they're coming in my chat saying that he said I'm supposed to review Hello Kitty. I don't know what the frick it's about.
Okay. Well, we're going to get right to the source right now with Greg Miller. He's going to tell us.
We'll see.
Oh,
He blocks my calls.
It is one of his final.
We can't
days
get
in
him.
the third
We'll try again later.
It is.
No answer? That's how it's going to be?
Oh,
That's tough. That's all right.
man.
He's big
I
time.
wonder if that was his right number.
He's been. Oh, you think you got
is,
the old
it is.
number?
Yeah, I'm sure
right.
it is.
All right.
Yeah.
But legit, it's not a real thing. I don't know where it came from, but it's kind of very Greg.
We might not ever know. I don't.
There's okay. There's a very small chance that he had to do something around Hello Kitty like 10 years ago as part of IGN video or something and hated me for it.
That was Scooby-Doo, Fran. We'll never.
And Scooby-Doo was another one.
Scooby-Doo's the big one.
Let's keep on that.
We have to do a Let's Play of the Scooby-Doo game that Fran made Nick capture footage of one day
All right,
with
we can
Fran.
do that. I like that.
No.
Is this the Gamescom story?
He calls it the E3 story, but Nick doesn't know
It
things. so.
probably was both.
Yeah.
We had a list. You have to get video of all these. We just got video of everything. That's what we did, man.
There you go. Barrett Courtney's on the set.
Yeah, I have vague memories of a couple weeks ago of some Hello Kitty thing happening on PS I Love You, and Greg.
He said, I'm reviewing Hello Kitty for you guys. Apparently, people are coming into my chat being like, where's the review? And
I mean, it's a good question,
but
Fran.
as
Where
I
is
sit here, let me just ask, is it a gag that he told them to pretend that I'm doing it, or did he legitimately sell that I'm doing a review for you guys on Hello Kitty? And you guys believe that?
It's all blurred.
Why would anybody believe
it's all
that?
blurred. It's always been blurred.
There's no way to
been blurred.
actually find out. I just don't know.
Fran, when we think about those weird games like that, from Barbie horse riding game to Little Pony, have you ever reviewed any weird games like that?
Oh, yeah.
Give me one.
I would have to look it up, but I've had to review ridiculous preview and review stuff for IGN when I first got started because, and that's where this all comes from, is originally before we had enough, I think, metrics, social media didn't exist. Like you would have a hit list. Like, I mean, Greg remembers this with Jeremy Dunham. He talks about it all the time. I mean, the Excel sheets of like, we have to do all of this. So anyway, I'd have to look up like an old game, but I'll find something maybe while we're
Tim is on your IGN page right now.
IGN page,
which is very cool. You have your own IGN page, Fran. That's pretty wicked.
Yeah, they
dope,
kept
man.
my name
like
linked.
last time you were here, we also looked at your old reviews.
Yeah, dude. Man, Fran, you
Man
go
was
away.
putting in that work.
Dude,
Fran reviewed NBA Street Volume 1.
Damn, that's
Jesus.
baller, Fran.
the
That's baller.
franchise. That was my name on the street.
The
franchise, bro?
Yeah, of course,
That's
dude.
super dope.
Dude, that game was awesome.
Crazy Taxi, Pikmin, Smash Brothers Melee.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Damn,
Big
man.
hits.
Some of the
I
goats,
love it.
man.
Cell Damage.
Oh, Cell Damage was cool.
Do you even know Cell
I don't
Damage?
even know that, no.
Mike, it's an Xbox game. You know
Cell
what I mean?
Damage?
It's one of the
It
old.
came out for yeah. That was a good game.
It was a towards launch
Yeah.
game. I
I don't
if
know
I
if
remember
we can
correctly.
find like you'd have to go before Pikmin, Tim. Like N64, there was some bad ones. See, I don't know if they're all linked.
I don't know that we need to go before that though, friend, because on April
find
11,
one?
2002, you interviewed Donald Duck, Go and Quackers.
Wait, I interviewed the team.
Sorry, you reviewed. I don't know why I keep saying
Oh,
interviewed.
I kind of remember this now.
Yeah,
Donald Duck, Going Quackers. Do you know what I gave it?
Let's see. You gave it a 5.2.
Ooh,
Joker.
very specific, a 5.2.
Yeah.
That was one of the
Verdict.
good
Going
old days.
Quackers is clearly skewed toward the younger audience, and that's certainly not a bad thing for those with kids. GameCube could use a dedicated kids title, and Going Quackers is it. Unfortunately, it's a rehash of what we saw quite some time ago on the N64. It's a lack of effort, probably more tied to milking the Disney license than making a truly compelling game
Great
for
job,
kids.
Fran.
For
Damn.
this reason, it's really disappointing. I recommend it to parents looking for something to let their kids play, assuming you haven't already played the previous Going Quackers. Certainly, this is the best Going Quackers yet, but the new editions aren't enough to warrant the pricey retail fee if you've played the original. If you're like me, you're probably hoping deep down that it would be another great platform game like Namco's recent Pac-Man World 2. It's definitely not, and if you're looking for platform titles on the GameCube, I recommend you stick to that.
Hey, that's not a bad summary.
Fran,
Excellently written thing. For me to
That's
just
not bad.
randomly pull an excerpt from a Donald Duck GameCube game, that was fucking
A+.
awesome, Fran.
I always put my heart into it.
Yeah,
So
dude.
now
Fran.
dude, I'm in tears.
He
That's
wasn't
funny.
phoning it in. That's the franchise.
That's the
franchise
franchise,
for you.
baby.
That's what you get from the franchise back in the day.
If you're just listening to the show, I don't know why, but I am so red over
I
like,
get it. No, dude, anytime
It's
someone
fu-
reads something you wrote in 2002,
my God.
that was
the
over
whole
20
place.
years
Over
ago.
20 years, yeah.
I'm like, honestly, I forgot about that, but hearing myself and listening to something I forgot, but it was kind of legit a decent effort at
It was
reviewing
great.
Going Quackers.
Yeah.
Going
Great job,
Quackers,
Fran.
baby.
Anyway,
Let's switch up.
That's
Let's
funny.
continue to have some fun. Norman V writes in and says, would you like to see Bungie make a dedicated story-focused shooter in the Destiny universe?
sorry, say that. My head is spinning.
Would you like to see Bungie make a dedicated
Oh.
story-focused shooter in the Destiny universe?
Duh. Yes,
Oh, wow,
everybody
okay.
would love that. I mean, whether or not you're attached to these characters, I think they've developed something really special with the style. And like, yeah, I would love if there was a spin-off in, we were talking about PlayStation, like quadtuple A products. That would be amazing to have something that's like, the pieces of the Halo campaigns that you really love, that's
Yes,
strictly
yes.
in the Destiny world and nothing else. I don't think we'll see that anytime soon, but it'd be awesome.
It is interesting that we have not yet gotten, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, a modern PlayStation first-person shooter campaign game that
Yeah, other than
is
Killzone.
made with
Killzone
the
died, yeah.
standards of what we expect from PlayStation at this point from that type of output, right? Like to put it on the level of Horizon, Last of Us, Ghost, like
Yeah,
'cause,
you make a
Killzone
really good point. Is
Shadowfall was
actually,
the last one, and that's definitely not on the same level.
wow. I just had, I haven't thought too far ahead about the Bungie acquisition, Sony's acquisition of Bungie, but I'm like, wait, is that a big piece of also why they grabbed Bungie? Is like, we want a shooter from you. We want the next Halo from you, but maybe it's 5 years down the road, but we believe in you guys, and like that, you could be onto something there. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, I think you're right onto it.
Yeah.
Now, out of the big three that all the PlayStation fans always bring up, which do you want to see? SOCOM, Resistance, Killzone.
I never got super
Out of
into
those big
any of
three,
them,
yeah.
but for whatever reason, I would say Resistance, I guess.
Interesting. I liked Killzone, more colors.
Yeah.
Resistance was very just like, hey, it's kind of dark and grim and kind of
You
bland.
just gotta jangle
Well,
some keys in
Killzone
front
had
of
those
Mike,
problems too.
Yeah, but
Until
Killzone.
PS4.
Yeah, well, the latest Killzone was
Gotcha,
like,
okay.
yo, we're gonna get you a lot of colors right now.
That was like, is a hard choice because like I wasn't close enough to any of those. I was just very busy at IGN for many years in between that Donald Duck Going Quackers review and all of IGN video and stuff. And like I didn't get to play stuff as much, which is again why I focus so much on what I do now. So I didn't really play much. So again, not an expert on any of those really.
Okay. Well, we are heading towards our final 10 minutes of today's Kind of Funny Games daily post show. Of course, I want to remind you that you can get involved and hang out with myself, Fran, and Tim right now here at the desk by getting involved through Super Chats over on YouTube. And of course, if you are over on Twitch, you can resubscribe with a message, or you can drop some bits in the chat with your message. We'll read that out and we'll have some fun with these guys today. Of course, we've gone through the gambit. We've brought up old reviews from Fran. We've had some fun laughing. We've thought about Destiny and what could be. What is on your mind, Fran?
Well, we didn't get to hear what Mike's excited about, in terms of what's coming up. Are you?
Oh, my God.
Are you sort of the all-in on Zelda like everybody else, or are you more in?
Yeah, I have a fun one. I'm excited to jump into Jedi, even though I never played the first one.
God,
Okay.
You're the
Why are
worst.
you excited that you didn't play
You're the worst.
You know what? Are you excited for the new one?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
excited.
good.
Yeah,
I'm not going to high five you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
skipping the other one.
I'm going to skip the other one. I'm going to jump into the new one. You know what I mean? Redfall, I'm timid about. Redfall, I've been probably the harshest critic out of everyone for the whole year that we've seen Redfall. I've been very I don't know if this is a game for me. I think this isn't their best that they could put out. But Redfall at 30 frames, I'm going to be there. We'll check it out. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll
And
be
then
playing on PC, baby. So
Zelda.
Enjoy your
I'm
30
gonna play
frames
Zelda,
with Greg
even
Miller.
though I never played the first one.
I mean,
All right. Don't trick me into that.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a
You're gonna
question
play
here, Mike.
5 hours of
Yeah,
Zelda.
when you say that you're going to play it, I'm not. There's no judgment
yeah,
here. This is just an actual factual question
yeah.
here. When you say you're going to play Jedi Survivor and you're going to play Zelda, are you expecting to beat those games, or you're like, I'm going to give them a shot and see what's up?
Jedi beat. Zelda, I will give you 5 and see if it captures me.
Okay.
That's not enough time in Zelda.
Yeah, I'll beat Jedi because then at the end of the year, everybody will want to talk about it, so I'll beat that.
Every Zelda game.
And no
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
going to want to talk about Zelda at the end of the
Yeah, I
year.
mean, we only got enough people talking about Zelda. It'll be fine.
Mike, if you will,
God.
and I don't know why this is the number, but it is, every Zelda game, you have to play for at least 12 hours to decide if it's going to capture you. 5 is not enough.
Well, I want you to know, Fran, that I beat the Centaur Man at the top of the piece
Centaur Man,
way before I
the
was
lineup.
supposed to, and people watched it, and I killed that
It
guy.
took him an hour and
You know what I
15
mean?
minutes to do so, and then that's the last time he played the game.
A lot of people
He
say
didn't
shouldn't
even
have.
get to the first beast.
Yeah, I
Why is he like
I'm
this?
there.
I don't
I'm
understand.
there.
I don't
I'm
know,
there,
man.
you know,
It
I'm
really
there.
keeps
You-
me up so
But I'm
nice.
gonna play the second one.
Do we have more questions or?
We're rapping for a second. We're rapping.
But do you just
what's
do
this
this
one?
to piss people off? Is
Yes,
what
I'm
I'm
gonna read
wondering.
that at the end.
Like, do you do this just to troll people because you
just
think
like
it's
that's
funny?
no, it's just not my cup of tea. Like I'm looking for the next multiplayer shooter. I'm looking
Yeah.
for fun multiplayer games. Like I'll tell you what, Fran, Party Animals, when this game finally drops, because it already should have dropped, this game is going to take over. It is what Gangs Beast, which is it
Party
was.
Animals.
I'm excited
Party
for this.
Animals must play.
That's a
I
Mike
cannot
game.
wait to check out
That's cool.
Party Animals. Of course, Starfield, I'm all in on. Diablo will be my game of the year.
Oh, okay,
Diablo is
now-
coming out, and that
I'm
game's
excited
going
about
to be
Diablo.
unbelievable. It's going to be so much fun to play hundreds of hours of Diablo. So those are more my style of game. I think everybody, you had a good conversation about reviews, right? And the cool thing about Kind of Funny is you know what each one of our personalities really likes and gravitates towards, right? And so like I'm going to tell you, hey, here's the fun games you can play with your friends. Or, hey, here's a great multiplayer game that you and your friends can go get lost in. Like, that's what I'm looking for all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you pick some good ones in there. Diablo's looking amazing.
Come on, Diablo's going to be goat.
Oh, yeah. It's
Come
gonna be good.
on, man. We're going to have a heavyweight fight at the end of the year. I'm very excited because I'm still firm on Spidey. I know you think Zelda, but I'm still firm on Spider-Man will be game of the year. I'm sticking with that.
I think Spider-Man
has a great
the
chance.
potential.
I can't
Tears-
wait until we get to the game of the year games cast and we talk about our top 10 list and then we like go through of like what other games didn't make it that got voted on. And I'm gonna have to read out Rockay City from One Snow Bike Run, unironically.
I'm captivated by Rocket City.
You
It's just-
are?
Fran,
I heard
it's
it was
so
not so
bad.
good.
It's so bad I can't stop.
Oh,
The
that's cool.
decision making from this team, that's probably me way over there. Don't worry about it.
That wasn't
The
me. I was like,
decision
that's-
making that went into this video game baffles me. The ideas that they brought
Yeah.
and saying like this is acceptable. Someone played that game and looked across the table and were like, ship it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I would have been like, what are we doing? Right? Like it's gotta have that conversation. So it baffles me and it blows my mind.
That's good though to
Yeah.
to experience stuff like that sometimes, like meaning because then you have perspective for the other stuff. You got to play the bad stuff if you want to say what's good.
But I will say playing it makes me really excited for what will be, oh shit, it's at the tip of my tongue, the heist game that we all love, Payday. Once Payday
Oh.
3 comes out, if they can
We'll see.
deliver what Payday 3 is, with that team and all that. I don't know. But it does get me excited for Payday.
Yeah. I think Tears of the Kingdom will nab Game of the Year just because, but we don't know what's coming. And actually, I just remembered Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah,
I'm
about
so
to ask
excited.
You are. Okay.
I'm
so
freaking
Fran,
so excited.
I'm trying to think back. Like, I don't remember you in Final Fantasy. Like, if I remember correctly.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So I was super into the old school, Final Fantasy 2 or 4, if you will, from Japan, and 3 and 7 and, all of that. And then again, got very busy after just 7, hard to keep up. I played a little 8, some of 9. But Final Fantasy 7 Remake was a really awesome effort with some, old school stuff kind of trapped in there that really screwed the pace. But when they hit, and it's when they mix their cinematics with the gameplay in Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was like, holy crap. Square is just doing stuff on another level. Very few games are pulling that off.
We have a new Fran name drop, Final Fantasy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Barrett, you're coming in just a little hot.
The franchise. I'm going to call you the franchise from now on. I love that.
But anyway, 16, which is they call is more of a roller coaster ride and is an action RPG. More so, it's all real-time action stuff. A little, people are talking about how the Devil May Cry influences and stuff are there. But I think it's going to be a banger, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited.
I mean, people are bringing up Armored Core. I'm very excited about Armored Core.
That's a long ways out, and we'll see what they do with that.
Is it?
Yeah, but see, I thought the leak was August. See, that was the tease.
Did it?
Yeah,
Yes.
the rumors are looking at August right now,
August.
which
I
very
didn't see that.
unsubstantiated. But
I didn't see that leak. My bad.
Well,
What
wasn't
if?
it from the announcement trailer? It was like they were saying 2023.
Did they? Okay, maybe they've been having it in hiding this whole time, and
And also Elden
Maybe I'm
Ring
just
DLC. One day
that's
that
not
will
coming.
come, and we'll
No
return
shot
to
that
that.
comes.
You
I'm
know what I
guessing
mean?
that'll be next year, like
But I'll be
March,
back on that.
February.
I'm excited. A lot of people say I was really good at Elden Ring.
Nobody
A lot of
says
people
that,
said
Mike.
that.
A lot of people,
A lot
man.
of people said,
So
Mike,
you've-
Fran,
very good at it.
I assume you haven't played the previous Armored Cores.
I've played some of them, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Okay.
Because for what I know about them, a lot of menus, a lot of like making decisions for your mech and stuff. Like you being the Souls guy, you being from software guy, you being the numbers guy. I feel like Armored Core, this new one has the potential to be like the Fran game of the forever.
I don't know. Well, it could be. I mean, I didn't play tons of Armored Core, but I definitely played some. And like, I think there's a big difference between like being in a mech and blowing everything up. And I recall, there's a lot of like going forward, and shooting stuff versus like Elden Ring is just this huge, wondrous world to explore. And so you will see how much, whether it's open world or whatever they do with it. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of it until I see gameplay. And it's been a long time since Armored Core has been, touched at all. So who's to say?
How about a little Expanse? You excited for the Expanse with a little Telltale?
Oh, based on the show, right?
The show and the books. Yeah, the books.
That's another one. I started watching that series. I was like, this is a dope series. And then I
Fran,
just didn't finish it.
I need to get lost in that. I need you not to stop. I watched it, couldn't stop. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I need to
Fran.
pick it back up. Again, my backlog's it's too big.
There's a lot of great recommendations coming in.
You know what I'm
from the
excited
team,
about? The
from chat.
Foundation season 2, Apple TV.
How about
Oh,
the
yeah.
Foundation?
Foundation
yeah.
is
I
cool,
watched it.
but it takes. It's one of those you got to do like same with Expanse. Actually, you got to do like 4 episodes, and then you're like hooked into this like fantasy world. It's cool.
Talking about Apple TV, of course, I'm lost in Ted Lasso. You
Of
know I
course you
love
are.
that. But a big downfall of Mythic Quest. Season 1, so good. Season 2 and 3 just haven't grabbed me at all. I've just fallen off of it where it's like, man, you had me at hello. And then after that, it's like,
Oh,
I
man,
don't know.
I could not
Mythic
disagree
Quest
more.
couldn't do it for me anymore.
I-
Yeah.
I would agree a little bit with season 3 just because I think the way season 2 wraps up feels like a complete story. But season 2 is a banger, Mike. You're wild.
Yeah, I think
Season 2 was a banger?
season 1 I think is really good. It's
Okay.
good. It's really good. Season 2 is very it's excellent, and I think season 3 has higher highs than 2, but overall it's not as good as 2. And I agree with Barrett that like season 2 is just like kind of, especially with how it ends, it's like, oh my god, this is great. But like I think season 3 like has a lot of real good stuff. I can't wait for more. I love this show.
Oh, man, that's so good to hear
Love
that you're watching it. Yeah, I watched it all weekend on Sunday, and I just like, it's like, oh man, this is just not grabbing me anymore like it used to. But guys, you know what is going to grab me? A brand new shooter that me and Nick are about to find out if it's valid or not on today's afternoon stream. Of course, if you're watching over on YouTube, we've already kicked on that live stream, so you can go click on that new tile, jump on over, hang out with me, Nick, and the gang for our afternoon stream. Of course, Fran will be there. Maybe he'll talk some trash to Nick before he walks out the building. And this is where we say goodbye on our Kinda Funny Games Daily Show. Thank you all so much for hanging out during our post show and answering some of these questions. And we'll have some fun tomorrow. Fran, you get the final word. What do you want to tell everybody?
It's been a blast. I can't wait to be back.
Love that. Bye.
Bye.